Hey, what's up, guys? Doing a little blog out here. Just rode my bicycle to the doctor's office. Spent a lot of time talking to the doctor. I feel like I'm 13 years old, riding my bike everywhere around town. That's okay, though. It's cool. Makes me feel healthy. But anyway, um, yeah, I talked about some stuff with the doctor, and I wanted to share with you guys. This is my doctor vlog. First thing I can tell you is something I've never told you guys before, but I was diabetic. I didn't have to shoot insulin, but I did have to take metformin orally to help give my body more insulin. So, I mean, it's something I was honestly kind of embarrassed about most of my life that I've been diabetic. It's not something you want to kind of brag around about. There's so many people who are diabetic these days because obesity is just so prevalent. But it's something I never really cared to share. If someone asked, I had no problem saying, yeah, I'm diabetic, but I never felt like making a video going, hey, guess what? I'm too fat for my own body. So anyway, good news is the last 6 months, I actually came to this doctor 6 months ago after I lost some weight, and I said, look, I'm taking all this metformin to keep up with my body, but my body's not as big, so maybe I can kind of lower that. And he's like, no, just continue to take it. And I can't stand taking pills. I don't like it at all. I don't want to take medicine. I'm 27 years old. I'll take pills when I'm 90. But anyway, I decided to make a big decision and not listen to the doctor. That's not always a good decision, but that was my decision. And I stopped taking all my medicine. And nothing happened poorly because of the fact that I had changed my diet so much, and I had just changed my regular schedule of stuff so much that it wasn't a big deal anymore. So the big changes that I've had in my life had definitely kind of created a circumstance, which again, you should not listen to your doctor, you know, but I decided not to. So I ended up just stopped taking it. And it turned out to be okay because I came here today and I'm 50 pounds lighter than I was 6 months ago when I talked to him, and overall lost 120 pounds since the beginning. And he said that that was a good move. That at this point he would have taken me off it anyway. So I thought that was pretty cool. So that's the first part of this blog. As people walk by me and look at me in strange ways, have no idea what I'm doing. Anyway, yeah, so that's the first part of it, is that I'm no longer diabetic. So that's a huge, really big deal. In addition to that, I also talked about pipe smoking. Actually, before I get into that, let me just say that anyone who is diabetic out there, because there are lots and lots of people out there who are diabetic. Now, there's definitely different levels of diabetes, and mine was not hereditary. Thank God. It's not something that was passed to me through my genes. It was just because I had too much body, so my body couldn't create enough insulin to take care of it. And because my diet was so poor, I mean, it was horrific. And thinking about it now, it was just plain disgusting. I'd have like 2 sandwiches before dinner, stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. So I was too big and I was taking in too much sugar, so my body couldn't keep up. That's why I almost went into a diabetic coma. I ended up in ER, and that's how I found out that I was diabetic. But anyway, that's all done with. So if you're diabetic and you can't stand taking insulin, you can't stand pills or injections, and it's because you're obese, it's not because of hereditary reasons, that can stop. That can stop for you. It doesn't have to be part of your life. It's something that I absolutely hated. And it's one of the reasons that I was able to motivate myself enough to lose weight. There's very few things in this life that will really give you motivation to do something, but if you put your mind to it and you want it bad enough, you can accomplish anything. So I hope that's, kind of influential for some of you out there. You don't have to be like that. Anyway, let's move on to talking about pipe smoking. I did bring up the fact to my doctor that I've been experimenting smoking a pipe lately, as well as some cigars. And I found out some interesting information. Some very interesting information. By the way, here's a quick shot of me since I'm showing my bike. It really is me here. I know you know my voice, but just in case. There's nothing really to show you except for maybe the FedEx guy or the strangers who are walking past me just wondering why I'm talking to my cell phone like this. Turn sideways. Anyway. Yes, pipe smoking. I learned some interesting things about it. Before I get into what I'm about to tell you, all the information I learned about it, I will tell you that right off the bat, when I got at Christmas time, I got that pipe starting kit, and I already had plans, exact plans as to what I was going to do. And I never had the plan to become a smoker. And what I mean by that is someone who regularly smokes. That was never in my plans, and nothing's changed with that. In fact, I was, hoping that I would get through a bunch of different things and find out really what I like and have an understanding for what I like, so that in the future I can casually smoke, every now and then. And when I say every now and then, I mean, you can't put a number on it, but if you need to know what I mean by every now and then, maybe once every couple months, just to relax, to enjoy it. But I never had the plans on being a pipe smoker or a cigar smoker or a smoker of any kind continuously. I'm talking about smoking every day or even smoking, every week. So with that out of the way, let me tell you what I learned about it, which is very surprising. I learned that pipe smoking, as well as cigars, but not so much cigars as much as pipes, it's really not as bad as you may think, okay? Compared to cigarettes, it's nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Directly out of my doctor's mouth. All the processing that cigarette tobacco goes through is so disgusting and ridiculous that there's so many carcinogens in cigarette smoke. Okay, now I'm talking about the smoke and the tobacco. I'm not talking about inhaling or not inhaling. That's a separate issue, which I'll talk about in a minute. But just the tobacco itself, that the fact that it's processed so much and there's so many additives to it, and there's so many carcinogens in it. The carcinogens are what actually affects your possibility of getting cancer. As I have to get out of a parking spot because this guy's going to hit me. So anyway, yeah, the carcinogens are what's going to cause cancer in your cells and obviously give you cancer. All right. The pipe tobacco specifically, but in addition to that, also cigar tobacco. It's so natural and so little processing goes into it that there's very little carcinogens in both pipe tobacco and cigar tobacco. That it's not nearly as bad as, say, smoking cigarettes. Now, the separate issue besides that would be, inhaling or not inhaling, just taking the smoke into your mouth. How you doing? Sorry I was in your spot before. I didn't mean to. Yeah, the difference between inhaling and not inhaling is it's not. This is from the doctor's mouth, which is shocking. He said if you're smoking a pipe, he said even inhaling, which he first of all doesn't recommend smoking at all because there's always a possibility that something can go awry, and we're all different. He said some people, they'll smoke one pack of cigarettes or they'll smoke one cigar and they'll get cancer. And other people live to be 110 and they smoke, 2 packs a day. There's no saying it's good for you or it's not good for you. They can't say in general it's not good for you. Of course not. Smoking anything, anyway, is not good for you. Anything. Even vaping. And that's another thing we're talking about, because I mentioned, he actually asked me, do you do the electronic cigarettes and stuff? I said no. He said, well, a lot of people don't realize that there's no smoke in vaping, but you're still getting nicotine most of the time unless you have the liquid that has no nicotine in it. And nicotine is what causes a lot of problems in smokers. And people think that, smoking is, the cancer is the biggest issue, but of course cancer is an issue. The nicotine has problems. The nicotine damages your blood vessels and so forth. So anyway, to round everything up, because I know this is probably confusing, because, as I'm talking, I'm looking around, all these people looking at me, and it's weird. So I'm going to kind of wrap this up and give you the point here. He said, look, on a casual basis, smoking a pipe, or in most cases cigars, it's not going to have detrimental health effects, other than the health effects you get from the nicotine in general, which will damage blood vessels, okay, which can cause circulatory problems, for one example. He said, just like nicotine, caffeine in excess will also cause problems. He said, it's funny he actually used this term, because I've heard at least 4 or 5 different people, well, I didn't hear, but I read, comment this exact statement, which is a great quote, and that is, living will kill you. You're going to die no matter what. You know, there's all these things around us in our life, all this man-made stuff, and all the things that we do as people, that something will eventually kill you. It's just a matter of what and when. And he said, you know, on a casual basis, casual meaning, you know, every other day, you know, possibly for a few months or, you know, even a year or two. He said it's honestly, your chances of getting cancer from it, the way you're doing it, is slim. But understand it's always there, and everyone's built differently. Like I said, he's literally had cases where people had a pack of cigarettes and they had lung cancer. All right, and then he has other people who are 90 years old who exercise for 2 hours a day and smoke 2 packs a day, you know, and they still have the same lung capacity. They don't have any kind of respiratory issues. They don't have any cancer. Everyone's different. You can't say what's going to happen. But as a doctor, he did look me straight in the eyes and he said, look, I'm not promoting smoking. Smoking is bad for you, and eventually you will have problems if you smoke anything. Real quick again, the vaping, because a lot of people always pop that up. Say, well, you know, I don't smoke. I vape, man. That's my thing. There's no smoke. It's not bad for you. Guess what? The nicotine you're getting from that is bad for you, and can have the same effects, nicotine-wise, as cigarettes or tobacco from smoking a pipe or cigar tobacco. So, and different types of tobacco do have different levels of nicotine. Something to keep in mind. Interesting little conversation I had with him. So, anyway, I told him my plans, and he said, honestly, totally fine. He said, absolutely fine. He tested my lung capacity and all that kind of stuff. Everything was great. It was totally fine. He said, you know, I wouldn't recommend smoking for the rest of your life. Eventually, you'll have some problems. It will definitely do damage to your body. But as on a casual basis, as an experimental type thing, no big deal. And I said, look, you know, I am going to make a video and talk to people. I asked him if he wanted to be on video. He said no, for a couple obvious reasons. But I said, well, you know, I talk on a video, I'm going to explain this stuff. He said, all right, well, just make sure you tell everyone who is watching your video that everyone is different, and not to take this as a message that it's okay, because it's not okay, and it's not good for your body, period. So that's pretty much it. I do still have a bunch of tobaccos that I'd like to try, and a couple of cigars I'd like to try. And once I get a better understanding of what I like, that'll be it. I'm just going to quit, because it's a personal choice. And it was never part of my plans to become a smoker. It's just like drinking. I got very heavily into learning about whiskey and stuff like that, and I have not had a sip of whiskey or a sip of anything other than those 3 beers that were sent to me from Gun Geek, which was awesome. It's pretty cool just to try those. But other than those 3 beers, I haven't had a sip of any liquor since Christmas. I have no urge to drink. I have no ambition to drink. But you know what? If I go to a party, like not like a house party like kids go to, I mean like just a casual get-together or something, I know that within limits I can enjoy a little bit of alcohol. Or if I'm in a social situation and someone happens to offer me a cigar, I can go, yeah, I'll have that cigar, and have an understanding of, okay, well, here's what this cigar has to offer, and no, I'm not going to like that, or yes, I am going to like that, that kind of stuff. And if nothing else at all, if you don't drink or don't smoke, but you watch these videos that I've done or perhaps will do on alcohol or tobacco, it's just information, and learning about things can't hurt you. I had someone send me a nice message that said, you know, I'm 15 years old, I don't smoke, I'm never going to smoke, but I love watching your pipe videos because it's giving me knowledge. And he said he went up to someone who was pipe smoking he has a haircutting place in town where he lives. I think he was in Oklahoma. Anyway, he said it's like a little strip mall, and there's a smoke shop there, and a guy came out of the smoke shop, and he was smoking a pipe. And he said he approached him and asked him what kind of tobacco he was smoking. And he said, I was smoking Dunhill. And he said, oh, is that an English tobacco? And he said this guy looked at him with like he had 4 eyes because he knew all this stuff. And he's like, well, you smoke a pipe? He said, nope, but I've been learning about it on YouTube. And he said, that's pretty cool. And he told him about my channel, and he said the guy's going to look me up. So, you know, knowledge is power. It's nice to know things. You don't have to smoke. You don't have to drink to enjoy videos about learning about these things. That's all it is. And I really, really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, hope to God that my younger viewership are not watching these videos and being influenced to do these things, but rather just learning some stuff. So, anyway, I've been blabbing long enough here. It's time to unlock my bike from this handicap pole, which can probably just be pulled out of the ground easily. So I don't know why I hooked my bike up to there. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your time as always. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.